The time is now. Welcome back to the Time is Now podcast. Thank God we could be here together today. On this podcast, we speak to entrepreneurs from all industries and figure out what makes them tick, where they came from, what business means to them, and how they achieve success. I'm Dr. Slava Shutt, a doctor of physical therapy, serial entrepreneur, and your host. Welcome to the Time is Now podcast with me, Dr. Slava Shutt. Normally, we have intriguing guests, entrepreneurs, people from the business world. But today is special, folks. Why is this special? Because the time is now for Hanukkah. What is Hanukkah? A lot of people ask me, listeners have asked, what on earth is Hanukkah? What is it truly about? We have many questions that people have asked. So today, we're going to talk about my experience with Hanukkah from a relatively religious standpoint. I'm not going to give you all the details because there's so much. But in essence, this is an amazing holiday. What's it about? Hanukkah is the encapsulation of a miracle that occurred many moons ago. It's a special time. It's festive. It's joyous. There's a lot of symbolic and meaning. Most people believe that Hanukkah, yes, there was a miracle, that something with oil, something with candles. What's it all about? The meanings are incredible. So let me rewind to the time period. Israel was overrun by the Hellenic government, the mighty Greek army. They basically enslaved the Jewish people. We were living in Israel by, the rule of the Greek government. At that time, they could not understand us Jews. They loved us for our minds, our philosophies, but they couldn't wrap their heads around one major concept: God. They said, you have all these rules, you have all these things. What about this? What about that? And we always say, thank God. Thank God for this. Thank God for that. We do this because God said so. And they could not wrap their minds around it. They said, we love philosophy. We love logic. But this God of yours, this one God, it doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense to us. There was times where they said, you couldn't practice this, you couldn't practice that, all the things that come into the Jewish religion. We have things we need to do. There's things that God expects of us. So when they enacted the decrees of not allowing certain Jewish practice, after a period of time, there's a group of Jews that rebelled and they fought back. Now, it's no easy task. You're talking about some rabbis, farmers, shepherds, to go against an entire army. Can you imagine a bunch of farmers and religious people fighting back against the United States government? The equivalence at that time would be the same thing. The government got a stranglehold of the people. They couldn't wrap their heads around certain things, so they said, you can't do it. We rebelled. And not only did we rebelled with some serious force. And thank God Almighty, another miracle, is we overcame this unbelievable, powerful government, probably the most powerful in the world at that time, and we drove them out. We not only drove them out, we drove them out to the point where we can now come into the house of God, the holy temple that was around at that time, and we could clean the place up, because those pigs, well, they really defiled the place. They messed everything up. And just in case, they knew what we do with our oils. Our oils are holy. They have a stamp from the high priest that says could be used for lighting the menorah, the holy menorah in the temple. And when the seals were broken, well, basically, you couldn't use that oil. So they defiled pretty much every single batch of oil in the entire temple. So instead of saying, woe's me, well, we went on a search. We looked, And they happened to find in a bunch of schmutz, in the muck, in the dirt, in the schmutz, we found a jar of oil that was supposed to last basically for one day. And basically, after you crack it open and use it, well, there's no more. But that jar was enough so we could start making more non-defiled oil. And lo and behold, the part of the miracle, not only driving out a powerful army, but also that oil burned for 8 nights. Wow. So basically, in the Jewish tradition, we have many holidays that they try to kill us. They couldn't. Let's eat. All right. This is one of them. So we commemorate now by lighting an extra light for 8 nights. Now, you might say, Dr. Slava, wouldn't it make sense to take all 8 lights and light everything at the same time and just for 8 nights, just light 8 candles? That's great. And some of our sages actually suggested that. However, there are some other great sages that said, us Jews are an example to the world. What was good today is not good enough tomorrow. One teaching that I want to bestow upon you people is that we light 1 candle the first day, and then we add light 2 candles the next day. So what was good yesterday is not good enough today. So we're adding light. We're adding more. We're doing more. Our efforts and the holy stature that we had yesterday was great up until yesterday. But tomorrow, we need to do a little bit more. And then we do a little bit more. And then we need to do a little bit more. And when you do more, you bring more light. You bring more light, you dispel more darkness. Darkness does not have to be pushed away. You do not have to physically remove darkness. The best way to remove darkness, and no matter what's going on in the world, it can be applied today. When you're struggling, when there's a lot going on, what do? Add a little light. When you add light, if you were in a big, massive, dark cave, you lit one little match could illuminate the entire massive cave. So the teaching is we add light every single night. And the more light we add, the more light there is. And we add more and more light until you get to the holy number of 8. There's 7 days in the week. Many aspects in Judaism is about 7. 7 is this world, where we live in this physical material world. It can be dark, it can be cold, and then we turn on the light. Number 8 symbolizes above physicality, above this world, above the natural order of things. This miraculous time period of Hanukkah, of how we drove out the mighty Greeks at that time. We found a jar of oil undefiled. It lasted 8 nights instead of just 1. This is miracle of miracles. It's incredible. So the number 8 is above nature. We light 8 candles and we illuminate and remove darkness. This is a special time. We have special foods. It's joyous. It's happy. It's festive. We sing songs. We play games. We have family time. What could be better? So instead of having 1 night of a holiday, we have 8 nights of a holiday. I mean, a whole week of fun, games, excitement, and more light. I'm going to answer a few questions. There's a lot of people who have sent in, a lot of viewers sent in questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer some of these questions. Now, I may have already touched upon them, but let's take a look at what some people have sent in. How do I observe it? Well, there's a special blessing before you light the candles. So you say those blessings, you light the candles, and now you've made the act from physical to spiritual. Very important. How long have I been observing Hanukkah? That's a great question. I've been observing Hanukkah probably easily well over a decade now. My religious journey has grown. I didn't grow up with religion. I came from a communist country where you could be killed for religion. So in this country, we got here, I was exposed to Judaism, and it wasn't until my later years, in my late 30s, where I started the religious journey. The last 7, 8 years is where it's really touched me, when I really learn about it. As I get more religious and I learn more, there's a lot more meaning. So us Jews, it's not just feeling. Today I feel it, tomorrow I don't feel it. Very intellectual. So when you go back and you think about, where did this miracle come from? Where did this whole thing begin? How did it evolve? So I start thinking about all the intellectual aspects of this. And then it's like, wow, I feel it. I could think about it. The mind controls the heart, controls your emotions. And then there's a deeper aspect even above that, the irrational aspects of like, wow, I mean, God is brilliant, just brilliant. I mean, these things to protect us, to guide us, to direct us, it's incredible. So this has been a spiritual journey as well as an intellectual journey. What is my fondest, funniest Hanukkah memory? Well, they're all fond. I like having a good time. I'm a fun-loving guy. So to me, Hanukkah is fun, loose. I mean, I'm a little gluten intolerant, and some of the foods that we eat. So we eat fried foods like a donut. We eat like what people describe as hash brown, which is a latke. So the oil is symbolized by this oil in the menorah that burned. So we eat foods that are fried in oil. Now, I can't say that's good for your cholesterol or for your cardiologist, or your fitness trainer, but it's fun. It's a good time. We splurge a little. I might have a little tummy ache and a little, sinus issue, but listen, it's fun stuff. I'll have a donut. I'll have a latke. I admit it. No big deal. It's awesome. So when you have good foods, you're around good people, it's always fun. How does my relationship with God inform who I am? It's shaped me completely. My personality has changed. I've become a better person. I'm more aware of others, not just myself. My passion of becoming a servant leader and a force for good and being God's PR agent has evolved. I was a caveman, and now I'm upright. So it's been an evolution. God has shaped my life completely. I know God is responsible completely, 100% responsible for all my success in business and family, my relationships. I owe everything to God. You have your beliefs, I have mine. You're welcome to your beliefs. This is mine. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're somebody dibble-dabbling in life and you don't know which way to travel, I promise you, the God route is the best route. You could do what you want, but I'm telling you, my success took off when I started getting more religious. Again, you could say coincidence, oh, you're so smart, you're so this, you're so that. I am nothing. I am but dust and ashes. So without God, there is no success in business, and there's no success in any other part of my life. Again, you're welcome to your opinions. This is mine. Share my thoughts about recent spike in anti-Semitic attacks on the Jewish community. I'm going to tell you right now, just like the mighty Greeks, if you continue, anti-Semites, mess with the Jews, you will go down. Because you're not just taking us on physically, we have God on our side. That's why from the beginning of time, there's many, many more powerful people than you that tried to wipe us out, and they're in Wikipedia, and we're sitting right here talking about it. So guess what? Don't mess with the Jewish people, because you could be next. And we'll have another holiday to celebrate your demise. So a message to all you anti-Semites, you could try, but you will not succeed. We will not go anywhere. And never again is a slogan, and we mean it. We will defend ourselves. We will not tolerate it. And just like the mighty Greeks, who are now in the record books and just in books, nowhere to be found, we are still here. How do I share my faith organically with others? Well, we're doing it right now. The beautiful thing that we couldn't do 50 years ago is share this kind of a platform with millions of people around the world. This social media platform could be used for good or for not so good. Spreading this kind of message, light, happiness, joy, is the foundation, I believe, of this social media. You could do so much good just by reaching out and talking to people. I could have had any message I wanted this week, but I choose to share my thoughts with you with positivity and goodness. Whether you're Jewish or not Jewish, and whatever your faith, religion, whatever your race, whatever you're into, it doesn't matter. It talks about unity, because at that time, when we faced a common mortal enemy, we united. And when we unite, we're stronger together than apart. So it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. If you're a force for good, let's all unite. Let's all think of ourselves as being beyond nature when we come together, and be beyond nature. And when we come together, we're such a strong force. And then just like the light represents good, evil just disappears, because good is more powerful than evil. And if we come together, just like the candles burning and the flames ascending to a higher spiritual source, we come together in power and unity and goodness, evil will be eradicated. So let's all get together, unite for good, help each other. All these good things that we could do for humanity will all come to a good place, never wasted. It's all good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening, make sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you for listening to The Time Is Now with me, Dr. Slava Shut. Remember to tune in every Friday at 2 p.m. and send in your questions to Dr. Slava Shut on Twitter. Thank you, thank you, thank you.